Ladies and gentlemen, who's going to tell Kamala? Please welcome conservative personality DC Draino, Rogan O'Handley. Author of We'll Be Back, The Fall and Rise of America, Kurt Schlichter. Senior advisor to Donald J. Trump at Save America, Lynne Patton. And your moderator, host of The Larry O'Connor Show, Larry O'Connor.
Please be seated. You guys stay standing. No, I'm kidding. Wow, you were ready. I like that. Lynn.
Hello, everybody.
Kurt. Woo! Rogan. I'm your cruise director, Larry. All right, so here's the thing. We got to talk about who's going to replace Joe Biden because we know he's not running, right? So, although we have to speculate about this, whether they run him or not, and we need to get this out of the way because I already know the corporate propagandists in the media are going to say, they were mean to Joe Biden. I mean, he's suffering from coronavirus, and he's the president. They shouldn't do that. Joe's a nice guy, right? He's just Uncle Joe. He's just, all right, let me just get this clear, all right? Joe Biden is not a nice man. He is actually a very bad man. You ask...
Just ask Tara Reid.
Ask Robert Bork's family how they feel about Joe Biden. Ask Clarence Thomas how he feels about good old Uncle Joe. Ask every patriotic American that he slandered as racist and xenophobic and insurrectionist because we dared to think that, hey, maybe someone might do a better job as president than him. Okay? That he's not a nice man. His entire mediocre career has been not based on principles and values and protecting our country and our rights. It's been based on improving his own narcissistic ego and advancing his pathetic career and filling his family's bank accounts by laundering dirty money through his corrupt, degenerate, crackhead son. That being said, we wish the president well. We hope he recovers soon. So, given that, Kurt, a CNN poll, and you know you can trust it because it's CNN, a CNN poll said that 75% of Democrats don't want Joe Biden to be the nominee in 2024. So given that overwhelming support, is there any chance they actually do try to run him for re-election?
Well, you know, Larry, Joe Biden is a senile old pervert who's pulling on par with monkeypox.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, this is a guy, he's brought us $6 gas, a woke military that got chased out of Afghanistan by a bunch of 7th century savages. And there's videos of it, floating around the internet of his son blasting rails off the buttocks of Estonian hookers.
Oh my God.
Okay. Now, admittedly, that is a core Democrat constituency. But he's not running. There's absolutely no way.
It's Kurt Schlichter, political analysis. Rogan, do you have any...
Hello, my name is Rogan O'Handley. My pronouns are Let's Go Brandon. And I am wearing a blue suit. No, he has no chance. The guy can barely find his way back from the helicopter into the Oval Office. When he said he isn't sure who is the president when they play Hail to the Chief, he's being serious. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of Democrats in the wings that are, you know, waiting to take this guy out. I think we got Gavin Newsom wants a crack at it, maybe AOC, and, you know, I know we're in Texas, everything's bigger in Texas, but apparently the rhinos too. I wouldn't be surprised if John Cornyn was going to run against him in the primary. Gun grabbing John.
Wow.
Well, Lynn, it's up to you now. So far, 3 of us think that there's no chance Joe runs.
Well, Larry, first of all, I have to start off by saying, ladies, how lucky am I to be up here with all these handsome men today? Yes, yes. Look, there's no chance in hell.
That's right. We're lucky to be up here with Lynn. There's no chance in hell. I'm sorry. I stepped on you.
I mean, let's be honest. What's he going to run on? A platform of incoherent sentences falling upstairs, the worst economy in history, the highest gas prices, the most illegal immigrants and fentanyl crossing the border in the last 30 years. And people forget that cackling Kamala Harris pulled less than milk, somewhere around 2%, when she dropped out of the Democratic primary for president. It's ridiculous. I mean, now she's like the lowest vice president in like 50 years, I believe. The lowest approval rating, and that's saying something because Dick Cheney shot somebody in the face.
So, all right, so before we get to, actually, I'm a little ahead of the game here because we're talking about 24. Who here thinks something might get in the way of Biden even making it to 24 as president? Rogan, if the Republicans win the majority in the House, could we be seeing an impeachment?
You know what I say? You impeach us twice, we impeach you 3 times.
Yeah!
Okay? And I personally, I got everyone's hopes up a little bit. I said that President Trump himself should be Speaker of the House, take that gavel away from Nancy, and be the one marching down the hall with the papers, with Nadler.
And all the pens.
Yes.
We deserve at least one guaranteed impeachment. I do think we can get removal, what he did with Hunter Biden, with the Chinese deals. They stole the 2020 election. It is rigged and stolen. And we should not tolerate that. And if we don't impeach him, I want to see states decertify 2020, starting with Kerry Lakes, Arizona, in Michigan, with Mastriano in Pennsylvania. And if that brings on a constitutional crisis, bring it. The American people deserve free, fair, and honest leadership in elections.
Yes.
This is 100% true. I saw Matt right before we went on stage, and I'm like, so it's going pretty good, right? And he goes, yeah, so far nothing controversial today. Everything's been fine.
Larry, right now there's some Rolling Stone reporter over there just basically defecating himself with joy.
Oh, is Hunter
As
here?
opposed to the usual way.
Yeah, I said to Matt, hold my beer, Matt. Just wait till we're done.
And as a New Yorker, can I just add?
Yeah.
I want to ask Letitia James, when is she going to investigate and indict Hillary Clinton, another New York resident, for surreptitiously spying on the Trump organization and the 2016 Trump campaign?
Yeah.
How about you investigate that?
All right. So impeachment, yes or no?
Look, the guy is not carrying out his basic duties. This guy has not even raised to the minimal level of competence that you would expect from a president. We have an open border. We have a military that's a disaster. The economy's a train wreck, and this idiot's talking about pronouns. It wouldn't be it would be a mercy impeachment.
Just get this over with. All right, so then if that were to happen, then Kamala becomes president and she runs.
Yeah.
Good. It's constitutional. And then she runs as an incumbent. So the title of the panel is Who's Going to Break It to Kamala? Because there's no way.
There's no way.
That they're going to go with her in 24, right?
I mean, she's a double minority liberal who's polling less than 8% in California. I mean, it doesn't get more blue than that.
It's true. Kurt's dog polls better in California than that.
Well, my dog has a better track record of competence.
I mean, the only way they can really leapfrog her, a black female, is to try to identify, and rumor has it, another potential black female in the form, well, is it a black female? I mean, it's Michelle Obama.
Well, she's not a biologist, so we don't know for sure.
I'm not a biologist, so I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm just saying in general, we can't leap to conclusions. Oh, you mean Michelle Obama?
Yeah, so they would have to bribe her either with Secretary of State, a SCOTUS slot, something like that. But we haven't seen the last of Kamala, unfortunately.
Rogan Kamala?
Absolutely not. I mean, I'll impeach her too. I'm handing out impeachments to everybody. Okay. But it's a shame to see that they're trying. We thought it would be COVID, but now they're driving up monkeypox for the midterms, right? They just declared it a health emergency. Well, I am proud to make an announcement that how to avoid monkeypox with this one simple trick. I got married 3 days ago to my wife, Carla Mott.
Stand up, stand up, say
stand
hi.
up.
Come on. You're part of this world now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Not only did I marry way up, but I also married a daughter of the American Revolution. I think that's pretty cool.
All right, so much for Joe, so much for Kamala. I have a list. I have a little list here. And it's got to say, you mentioned her already. So I'm out of D.C., right? My talk show's in D.C. And they're literally talking about, in fact, they're excited about this. Hillary Clinton. One more time, baby. Oh, see, I'm torn because I know that would be lousy for our country, but just for the sheer spectacle of it, as a talk show host, Lynn, Hillary.
Look, for old time's sake, can I get a cheer? Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up.
That has a nice ring to it.
I mean, look, there's a rumor that she and Kamala met 6 months ago to discuss a potential dual ticket.
Wow.
They are both so delusional.
Who's on top in that equation? Oh, you people. Top of the ticket. Come on.
They're both so delusional that I actually think they can win together.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen.
You know, America's going to do to Hillary again what Bill Clinton did to her, which is utterly reject her in favor of others. I mean, you know, she's like Darth Vader without, like, interest. She's just horrible. And she's a terrible campaigner, and she's like everybody, she's like America's first wife. You don't want to listen to her for 4 years.
Your first wife is wonderful.
Present company excluded.
Yes.
Right?
And Rogan, do you have strong feelings about Hillary Clinton?
Boy, do I ever. Unfortunately, I just don't think she's going to get locked up unless she changes her political party to Republican.
Right, that's true.
That seems to be the only
she's
way
off the Gitmo, yeah.
that happens these days. You know, it's just sad. We're living in an era not only with an illegitimate man in the Oval Office who doesn't even know where he is, but we've got political prisoners in a gulag. We've got 2,000 Mules exposing the greatest election fraud in the history of this country.
Yes, Denise.
But I can't tell you how optimistic I am after what just happened in Arizona 3 days ago. A clean sweep, top to bottom.
Yes.
The swamp, the McCain Mafia, the DC swamp, we are putting you on notice. This fight will not be quick, but we are taking it all the way to the very end. I promise you that.
Yes.
All right. All right, then the list is long, believe it or not. We're going to plow. First of all, Kurt, Bernie is too old now, right? I mean, there's no way Bernie.
Oh, no, because Joe Biden has shattered the cobweb ceiling. That crusty old communist.
I want to tweet that before you do. Hang on.
You know, I mean, he showed just because you're 162 years old doesn't mean you can't sort of be president.
There you go. So Bernie the socialist running from his basement like Joe did?
I mean, whether they nominate Crazy Bernie, 2% Milk, Mini Mike, you know, whoever else, AOC, I'm going to piggyback on what Rogan just said by saying, if anything has shown us, Arizona, Michigan, even New Jersey,
Pennsylvania.
I mean, voters unapologetically want Trump-endorsed candidates who are America first.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah, but the Dems have to come up with someone on the ticket. You mentioned AOC, and instead of like an old decrepit Moscow socialist, we could get the young, Instagram-friendly Latinx version with AOC. Will they? She is just old enough to run. Are we going to basically have to live the rest of our lives with her running every 4 years?
Probably. I think AOC is going to be a bit more interested in Hollywood acting roles coming up next. She seems to be pretty good at, you know, lying for a living. And I think, you know, this next generation of MAGA, Hispanic, and black candidates are going to be a rude awakening for her. Myra Flores versus AOC, I'll take that 8 days a week. Anna Paulina Luna coming up. We got some heavy
Vega
hitters.
in Virginia,
AOC
you betcha.
is a has-been. I promise you that. She would love to run just to boost her social media engagement, maybe get her nails done to stand up for some type of issue. But this is a, you know, another generation of MAGA, multi-diverse, working-class patriots coming up. I couldn't be prouder. It's going to be a rude awakening next year for them in the House.
Kurt.
Larry, the biggest underreported story of this election cycle is Latinx, that's our word now, folks, Americans choosing conservative Republican candidates.
Yeah.
The polling now says that Hispanic Americans are now even. Democrats put all their money, they went all in on Hispanics, thinking they would have this serf underclass forever. And that's not happening. I married into a Latinx family. These people are about faith, the flag, and family. And they are natural Republicans, and they are going to help kick Democrat butt.
Amen.
Could I just say that if you go to your in-laws and call them Latinx, they will stab you. So please do not do that.
No, they love me. They even have a nickname for me, El Gringo Pendejo, which is... It's so great.
It sounds good.
You're
I
wonderful.
Like that.
I mean, that's a term of endearment.
That's got to be nice.
They love me.
All right, so Kurt, you're from California, and no one speaks for minorities like the whitest man in America, Gavin Newsom. He was just at the White House measuring the windows for his drapes. What do you think?
He makes Mitt Romney look ethnic.
Is he going to run?
Of course he's going to run.
Yeah.
And he's running on a controversial platform. I'd like to make all of America California. So apparently we'll all be given a free hobo to defecate in our front yard.
Kind of like a chicken in every pot, I guess.
You know, Gavin Newsom, he's been running ads in my state, in the free state of Florida. And he's saying, listen, if you want freedom, come to California. Not only is that pure insanity, but I just want to thank him for taking out Florida's trash. Thank you, Gavin.
Well,
Lynn?
I mean, I've been told that if we wring out Gavin Newsom's hair, we can actually become energy independent again. And by producing 10 million barrels of oil a day.
Now that's the renewable energy we want.
Come on now.
All right.
What
Lynn,
about
how about
Elizabeth
Mayor
Warren?
Pete?
I mean, look, you're talking about a transportation secretary who's been on maternity leave.
Paternity leave. Yeah.
During the greatest transportation crises of all time. The Freedom Caravan, we've got a supply chain crisis, a pilot shortage. No.
All right.
But Lynn, he would have done so much worse if he had actually been there.
I mean, but you know what? He's gay, so he has
I think
the
he
pass.
could help us in the baby formula department. He seems to know a little bit about.
Bette Midler said just nurse, so I mean he can just.
I mean,
who are we to judge? All right, I've got some. Well, real fast. Will Elizabeth Warren go on the warpath and try to?
I mean,
what?
I think if she does,
I'm just coining a phrase. What?
I think if she does, I mean, I don't know if she'll be able to keep it together that long. She was shrieking out in front of the SCOTUS. I think she lost her voice for the next 2 years. But I think I already know her campaign slogan. It'll be abort more in 24.
Well, Larry, I'm reading the smoke signals, and I think, I think Big Chief Warren is, she's going to throw, she wants to get in the white teepee, so that's, that'll be.
Lynn, do you have a few of these for yourself?
I'm just thinking if the mosquito bites her between now and then, she might lose all her Indian blood. Oh. You know? I mean,
it would only take one little bite.
One bite.
All right, how about some wild cards here? Now, seriously, they are saying this in D.C. They're trying to think outside the box. Joe Manchin. Honestly, I've heard that name float. It's like, oh, he'll make the rest of the country think that Democrats aren't as crazy as they obviously are. Does Joe Manchin have a shot? They would never do it, right?
I mean, I personally don't think the base would go for him. He seems to have understood that we are in a massive inflation crisis. So, I don't see that working out.
Maybe this deal this week was sort of part of the, we don't, it's like, why would he do this? Maybe that's why.
Well, Larry, he'll just take the next step to really nail down the progressive edge by announcing that he's non-binary. We'll go over well in West Virginia.
Manchin? No.
Look, we're living in a bizarre world where, obviously inflation isn't inflation, men aren't men, recession isn't recession, so maybe Democrats aren't Democrats.
All right. Oh, funny you should say that. Speaking of that, I have one more wild card here. If it's not Joe, it's not Kamala, it's not anyone else on this list, all these Democrats, how about this one? For the Democratic nomination for president in 2024, Liz Cheney.
Well, Larry, she's a shoo-in to take her home state of Virginia.
Yeah.
I didn't know Miss Piggy would be eligible to
Oh, now that's just unkind. Rogan.
By the way,
Rogan.
to the Rolling Stone reporter, you're welcome. We gave you like 30
Yeah.
headlines.
Seriously.
In one segment.
Republicans were mean!
Media Matters usually like cuts up all these segments into little bites. It's like, what are they gonna do with this?
Yeah, Media Matters can bite us.
Lynn, Liz Cheney?
I mean, look, you know, she and Kevin Costner have one thing in common. They're both fake ranches.
And neither live in Wyoming. Well, I guess that's it. We're gonna have to leave it up to you to fill in these blanks, but we have determined one thing. These guys are awesome. Rogan O'Handley, Kurt Schlichter, Lynne Patton. I'm Larry O'Connor. Thank you for
Thank you,
saving this
guys.
country.